Friends, welcome back. So in the last session we discussed about images, and we also seen images overflowing our layout. So this session we will be discussing about how to ensure that our layout is smooth. Okay, so I'm opening up the Android Studio. Sorry, not the I'm going to open simulator as well, and both iPhone as well as for iPad. And let me quickly open our Android emulator. Alright, so far so good. All seems okay. So let's quickly start writing the code. Okay, so this is where we are, and we have three images which are working perfectly fine, and we learned about how to readjust and perform certain functions on that. So let me quickly run the app just to have a look. So the problem which we have is sometimes we make the image large or small, or you want to put 2 or 3 images in a single layout, which on a tablet might looks fine because of course tablet has a more real estate of screen than iPhone or Android phone, smaller phone. But on a phone, the image will overflow, and you will get a error bar on the side. So this is not a very good experience for our end customers. Of course, when you are making an app and you are doing it professionally, it is expected from you that the app should be compatible with the tablet, the Android, and the web format, depending upon whatever is the requirements are. Alright, so this was our app which we created, and let's say we want to use 2 images. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this for the time being, and these are the 2 images which we have. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this image in a row. So how to do that? Just click it. You can write it manually, or just click the yellow button and say wrap it with the row, and it's going to do that. I'm going to put the second in a row as well. So these both images will be in a row, and the third image I have already cut. So when I do a hot restart, so the 2 images are coming in a row. Of course they have different sizes. Let's say if I make that scale to, let's say 2, and this height and width I make it 350, and width also as 350, and I do a hot restart. Of course it's going to overflow. So this is my row 1, and let's say what I'm going to do is I make row 2 as well, and row 3 as well. So let's do a hot restart, and you see now the image has overflown on the right hand side as well as at the bottom. So the same thing is going to work whether I run it on my iPad or iPhone, and if I run it on my let's say web browser. Of course web browser I have more space, and I can increase the width and height depending upon whether I'm running on a, you can say, HD or a full HD, and even better if I'm running on a 2K and 4K screens, the real estate which I'll get will be massive. So the screen, you can say, it may or may not overflow depending upon the monitor which the customer is using, but on an iPad it may be, depending upon the size of image you have defined. On phones definitely. So as you see on iPhone, the template which I have made of 2x2 images, so basically 2 rows, or you can say 2 images in a row and 3 rows. So I have overflown on the left, I have overflown on the right. But on the browser, since I can increase the width, it is not overflowing until I reduce it beyond a certain point. And if I start increasing the height, so now it is neither overflowing on the left, neither at the bottom. However, on all the other screens, the app is struggling. So let's see how it looks on my iPad as well. So I'm going to run it on the iPad, and as soon as I run it on the iPad, of course the app is compiling. So the main agenda for today is to understand what should we do and how to ensure that the layout works fine on all devices, whether they are small devices or big devices. And of course, there are multiple ways to handle it. See, it is looking fine. Of course, this is not one of the best appearances, but we are not going into appearance right now. What we are, our main objective today is how to do that. Of course, if you want to do everything center aligned, again, you can. This is your column, and wrap it with center. And once you do that, everything will be center aligned based on the real estate you got. So as soon as I do a hot restart for all, things should be okay. All right. Okay, so so far so good. Or this is what our original was. Now how to do a scroll bar, that's the main agenda what we are doing to do. So when you click the yellow button, you see stream builder size box, but scroll bar something is not there. So what I'm going to do, when these are the common ones which are generally used, in case you don't, it's not available, just wrap it with a widget and give it a name. So the name of the widget is single child scroll view. Okay, so the single child scroll view, what it will do is it will put everything under a scroll bar. So let's run it on Android first. So as soon as I run it on Android, you see the bottom overflow has gone away. So what magically I can do now, I can scroll. You can see. So this is allowing me to scroll. If I render it on my iPhone, again the bottom overflow has gone down and I should be able to scroll now. Yep. And similar function if I now run it on, let's say, on iPad. Of course on iPad nothing was wrong, so it continued to stay what it was. There is no change. And if I run it on my web browser, and since web browser doesn't have any issue, it should continue to behave. But now see the magic. If I reduce the width, it raises an error that it doesn't have enough space and the layout is overflowing. But if I reduce it from bottom, now absolutely no issue. So since I have reduced, and I should be able to scroll now, so it does not generate an error. So this is working fine from a you can say vertical scrolling. And you will ask, what about horizontal scrolling? So single child scroll view has a property called scroll direction, and the default property is vertical. So let's give it a scroll direction property and let's try to make it horizontal. So as soon as I give it a scroll direction property, and as you see, a scroll direction property, when you point on it, it is of type axis and the default value is vertical. So I'm now going to give it a axis dot, since the default is vertical, if I write vertical, nothing is going to change. So this is my Android phone. I'm going to do that, and absolutely no change because the default was vertical and I just defined vertical. However, if I made it horizontal and try to run that, then what you see over here is I am able to scroll it horizontally, but the same issue now popped up at the bottom. Same way, this is my let's go to iPhone. So this is my iPhone, and if I do a hot restart on my iPhone, so again a similar behavior like Android, I can see the image now very well horizontally, but now it has a problem vertically. So what should we do? So this single child scroll view, just wrap it with one more widget, and that widget will again be single child scroll view. So this is basically one horizontal scrolling. You become, or you embed it in another scrolling which is scrolling vertically. So you have a top parent which is scrolling vertically, and within that parent, you again have a scrolling view which is scrolling horizontal. The end result will be that you can scroll your app or your layout both horizontally and vertically. So let's give it a hot restart to my Android, iPhone, my web browser, as well as my tablet. So let's see one by one. So first, Android. Now same layout, but there is no scrolling horizontally or vertically. You can see error message. I can scroll it down and I am able to scroll it horizontally as well. So vertical scrolling working fine, horizontal scrolling working fine, no more issues. Now let's see it on iPhone. So again, horizontal fine, vertical fine. So this is my vertical scrolling working very smooth. I am scrolling horizontally, working very smooth. On iPad, because it does not have any challenges, so again no impact. This was my web browser. So now this time if I increase my height and width, this is fine, no change. If I reduce my width, height, and I should be able to scroll it vertically now. If I increase my height and reduce it, and okay, so now I should be able to scroll. If I reduce both height and width, then it should behave like a mobile and it should scroll both ways. Alright, so this is your scroll view, and of course this is not a very nice looking layout, but again our motive was not to make it, you can say, cosmetically better. Our idea was to understand the widget and how the widget works. And one more way of dealing with the problem was that if I am on, let's say, a bigger screen, I should make my images a little bit better, or you can say a little bit bigger up to a certain point. And if I'm running on a mobile version, I should make my images smaller or a lower quality in case you are loading it from the internet. Because you are showing it slower, why not load a smaller image? So it should adjust the image size based on the screen size. That's another way of handling it. One more way you can think of it is that it should adjust based on the screen size available, which means I should create two layouts in which I have, to some extent, let's say if I use the word hard coded, that if screen size is bigger than this, please run this function, and this is the layout you should take out. And I may show, let's say, 3 images instead of 2, because I have a real estate available. Now on this iPad I have shown 2 images and it's looking not so good. Over here I have, and because there is a lot of free space, but on the mobile I have shown 2 images and it's still too big. So I may want to show, let's say, 3 images on a tablet and 2 images on a mobile screen. So it should have a 2 by 3 layout, whereby in, you can say, tablet it should have 3 by 3 layout. So if you want to do that, that can also be done. Again, depends upon the requirement of the client, whether the client allows you to do that or not, or whether you want to do it or not. But the idea is, how do we understand it, what are the options in hand, and what we can do. And there is no single solution for everything, and you have to adapt the solution based on the needs. What I have shown you today is how to create scroll bars both horizontally and vertically. In the next few sessions, we will understand how to adjust the, you can say, size of the image based on the screen size, so that it always show full screen. That's another way. And again, further, what we will do is try to also create 2 separate GUIs or 2 separate widgets, parent widgets, and both of those 2 widgets, either one of them will be called based on the screen size available. All right, so that's it today from my side. If you have any queries, feel free to post it in the comment section. I will definitely reply to them. And please subscribe, like, share, and pass it on to your friends who also want to learn Flutter. So I see you soon. Till then, goodbye, peace.